Hello and welcome back to the second day of the buildingSMART International User Conference. I hope you enjoyed some of the sessions yesterday, and we look forward to providing you with some more content today. Today's next session is called Tech Services, but this is really about some of the open BIM services that we're developing and how to maximize some of the services available to you today. We have 3 sessions. One is on BCF, which will be starting shortly. The next is on use case management with Thomas Glaettli from the Swiss chapter. And finally, translation services with Léon van Berlo. So with that, I think we'll get started this presentation from Mathijs Natrop. So over to you, Mathijs.
Welcome to the BCF use case we've made. I am Mathijs Natrop.
My name is Stefan van Lenen.
My name is Daan Arts.
And my name is Robert Evers.
Yeah, and together we've created this this video to show you some use cases on BCF, and it also explains the BCF chart. Yeah, shall we start with explaining this BCF infographic? It's been launched on the buildingSMART International website a few weeks ago, so it can be found also on the website. It's shown in the bottom.
All right, why should we use BCF communication in the building industry? Well, communication is one of the most important issues in the building industry, not only in the building industry, but in general. Communication is a difficult thing to do.
And it's an international and open standard.
It will help have reliable coordination. It ensures the responsibilities of the issues that are being created. There's a much better coordination between each other. We can create predictable workflows, and the failure costs will go down immensely because we know exactly what we're talking about instead of sending emails and we don't really know exactly what we're talking about there.
So we can define an issue. What is it? What is it about? How can we specify it? What's your problem? And how can you communicate to another person? And what do you expect from it? So you can delegate it and maybe make a suggestion for a solution.
We have to add some titles, responsibilities, and adding the right objects with the right descriptions to communicate very fast with each other.
So BCF is object-based, so we select objects and we know exactly that we're talking about that certain object.
Let's show people how this works with the help of some use cases. Robert, you've made a use case from your office. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so this is our headquarters in the Netherlands. What you are going to see in the video is that one BIM coordinator is making an issue for a 3D BIM modeler, and is making the issue in Solibri, but it could also be Navisworks or other software product. And he is making the issue, and he is communicating with BCF Live Connector to send the issue automatically to the 3D BIM modeler. And by using the right responsibilities, labels, and other extra requirements we wanted to add, it's going to be very specific what is the problem and how to solve it. What you are seeing here is my colleague is using Revit with the BCF Manager add-in, the free add-in, and he collected the issue online from an online server, BCF server, and he collected the issue, and he knows what to do with the issue, how to solve the problem. And after that, he will resolve the issue and sending it back to the BIM coordinator to communicate, hey, this issue has been resolved. So now we are going back to the BIM coordinator. He is receiving the comments and the resolved issue, and he can close the issue if he is pleased with the comment, and so the issue will be closed. And this is a more faster way than sending each other a PDF or emails or whatever.
So we see that this is a use case that's more like how it started with BCF, to be able to communicate these model checks results, right?
I show you later on how it works within when we use it on a construction site, but it's almost a similar process.
Yeah, and that goes for us as well. We use the same process daily, and this new BCF chart will help us and also our suppliers to create even better issues for higher quality, to create better communication for all of us.
So our project is in, well, you see Holland on its side. It's situated on the west coast. It's somewhere between Leiden and Haarlem. It's called Noordwijkerhout. And here you can see the construction site. In the middle you see the apartments, and on both sides there are 12, as we call them, back-on-back houses. The situation is that the construction is finished and the facade is now in progress. Well, this is the original design, so you can see how it's going to be. That's me coming to the construction site because a colleague asked me how to make an issue. Well, he found a mistake that we have to resolve. So there we go. Well, here you can see that the lime bricks were cut on site. So how does this look in the model? Here we are looking at the floors and the lime bricks from the suppliers. And there you can see that there's a, well, let's wait a little bit. When we zoom in, you can see that there's a little space between the floor and the lime bricks. There you go. Also, the lime bricks were situated in a model on a floor that is 220 millimeters thick, but in reality the floor is 180 millimeters thick. So that's the reason we had to cut off the lime bricks on site. So now we go to the model and make an issue. So this is the part where my colleague explains what is happening. So there he shows me that the floor is thinner than the original 220 millimeters, and that we had to cut off the lime bricks. So okay, there we go. There we are going to make a new presentation in Solibri to put in the issue and give the issue a name and a description. And then it's important to give the issue a status, because, and in this case we use the status active, because this corresponds with BIM Collab. And we also assign the issue to a team member within responsibilities, because we would like the supplier to make an adjustment in his model. Then we connect to the server, to the BCF server of BIM Collab, and start to filter the issues and synchronize them. So now these are the issues we have with the same supplier, and then we can add the issue to it. We have to do some value conversion, and it's done. And then now the issue is with the supplier, and then we have to wait till the supplier fixed the issue. So there you can see that the supplier resolved the issue and assigned it back to me. And there I can see what changed, and now it's time for me to get to work. So yeah, first of all, we have to update the models within our main model. So there are our 3 new models from the supplier. And then we have to wait a little while to import these 3 models. So now we go back to the classifications, and we can use the same classifications for the floors and the lime bricks from the suppliers. And when we zoom in a little, there we see that the issue is fixed, or have the good height, and the lime bricks are as well. So let's check this on site. Well, look at that. We have some thumbs up for the supplier, so now they can move on. Now they can move on the construction site. So now that we saw that it was okay, the issue is resolved. Then it's now time to change the issue to the issue status to closed. You see in the BCF Live connector that the issue is still on the status resolved. So when we go to the communication, there we can adjust it to closed. And then it's almost immediately synchronized to BIM Collab. And that's it.
Yeah, and this use case is more the second one, or the first one was with the design, right, with the architect, and now you're with the supplier. So you're communicating with the supplier for this limestone elements, right?
Yes, it's it's a communication between the suppliers and the contractor.
Okay, nice. So this third use case is on a project in the Netherlands also. So yeah, this is the construction site, and on the site there's always something to discuss. It's a big project, so there's multiple issues, and that could also be things to investigate on site. So here we see the model, and yeah, it's also made in Mathijs. And we're discussing things in the construction site, on the construction site, with the construction site managers. We're discussing a situation, and within this situation, the site manager is explaining that there's piping going in a new situation, and there's an issue with something that was already there, and they have to make some adjustments, they think. But to make sure, they are going to investigate this on site. So this could be within the meeting. We're creating an issue to be the start of this investigation. So within this issue, the most important part is that we describe what must be investigated, and we set this one to the guy or girl, someone that's going to investigate, but in this example we're going to investigate it altogether. So we've created an issue, and this issue is created on the CDE platform, on the coordination platform, and the site managers can use their tablet or their smartphone to look at this issue from their app. So here we walk to the location of the issue, and to investigate this, and we see that there's a problem with this steel girder, this beam, and some new piping that should go to the other side of the wall. And yeah, and here they're talking about where these pipings should be within the new situation. And to have a really reply on this investigation, you can reply on the issue, and in the issue we can see the image that was created from the platform with the virtual location, and now we have an image that we add to this issue that has the actual situation. So now we're not using the camera position within the virtual building, but we're using just the camera that's in our tablet or smartphone to add to this discussion. So in this example, it's a site manager that creates the picture here, an image, and he adds this to the issue and puts in his comments that that's about the situation. And at the moment that he's ready and he made his comment and he uploaded his image, then this image is directly available on the server, so someone else can be can look at this issue and can look at the response, including this picture taken with his camera. And while the site managers are going to their next issue or to somewhere else on site, someone could be handling this issue with this picture and be forwarding it to someone responsible for taking any actions on this.
So in this next use case, we use BCF a little bit of a different way. Here we share and communicate our planned tasks of our primary process. So welcome to Hackathon. This is our office, and soon we'll meet my colleague Robert, who is working together with me on this. There you can see what we aim to do. A quick. So how do we do this? Focusing now on our data-driven and our sharing of issues, and we'll be focusing on the status and the comments around those issues. So what we do here is we have an Excel sheet of all our tasks that we need to be completed in our primary process of engineering and building. That list is in an Excel file created out of our planning program, and that Excel file is then imported into Solibri. So for Solibri to understand what we were doing, we had to do some mapping, and this is what we're doing here. So we're saying, all right, column A goes to column Z, and so on. So by doing this, we can create a proper BCF file. Solibri is has an interesting feature on this, so we use this. And now see on the bottom left of your screen, you see all those issues are then created. There they are. All right. So we need to get those issues into BIMsync. BIMsync is our platform which we share our issue management. This is cloud-based issue management and data-driven. Those are the things we're talking about just now. So we're looking for our project to import this into, and we synchronize, just like you've seen in the other videos before. We use the new live connector of Solibri, which is a great way to communicate issues in a data-driven way. Whereas before you could get issues into separate files and you're emailing them back and forth, and the communication is, well, not so data-driven and not so easy. So we've imported those files into BIMsync, our platform, and here you see all our tasks that need to be completed. So here we have a task, and the task says that we need to create a soil report. We have communication, we created comments on this task, and we also attached the document itself. So I'm checking the document, it is approved by me, and therefore we can change the status of this issue to closed. And we go back to the overview, and here we have an overview of all the tasks that need to be done using issue management. You see milestones, dates, responsibilities, labels, status, and using the dashboard in BIMsync, we have a complete overview of the percentage of all the tasks that need to be done. They're primary process tasks in Dutch. 40 open, 6 are closed. So we're on our way in this project to be doing what we're supposed to do. And we use issue management to control our project. So what we did just now, look at data-drivenness by transferring the BCF into Solibri and BIMsync, and using status and comments in our BCF to communicate these tasks within our project team. So that's what we did. It's a little bit different than communicating on the building side. We use our tasks for our planning and use BCF to communicate this. So this will give an insight on a little bit of a different way of using BCF, but maybe you are inspired to do the same.
That's such a good example that we are going to use it as well, Dan. Thank you.
You've opened his eyes to have a broader view on BCF, right? Is that the case?
So more collaboration, even within our team. So that's what BCF brings, more collaboration, teamwork, and knowledge. Because we introduced the chart here today, let's hope that a lot of people start using the charts, so the quality of the issues are going to be improved, so communication will be improved and will be more centralized, and that's what we're trying to achieve here today. So let's hope we can do that together.
Yeah, and also that maybe people that are not working with BCF hands-on, but need to know the value of BCF so they can implement this on their project.
Okay, so by wrapping up this video, what you have seen in my video was that we are using the tiles like you are seeing here on the screen.
Using these issues, then you see that the emails are drastically decreasing. So yes, it's very helpful. Yeah.
less email, that would be terrific, right? No one single direction lines to one other, but more the open communication.
Yes, we are also seeing less emails with sending one line issues and snapshots. We wanted to have the information centralized, and that's the one of the benefits of using BCF and the BCF Live connector with an online server.
Yeah, with my video, you saw that you can use it also within your own company as a sort of communication within your project team.
We did a little bit different. We're talking about tasks instead of clashes in our models. So our naming in our case was literally the task. We described the task using the description. The status was either open or closed. You either did something or you didn't. Responsibilities in these tasks is obviously very important, so we use those as well.
Robert already also mentioned is that when we adding objects to the issues, the suppliers know what to adjust to their in their models, and yeah, that gives a lot more value.
So he doesn't adjust the wrong wall. Is that what you're trying to say, Stefan?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Mathijs.
Well, thanks to Mathijs and the team for that interesting presentation on issue resolution and clash detection. So I think great use of the BCF BIM collaboration format. So up next, I think we'll just promote Thomas Glaettli from the Swiss chapter to presenter mode. You can share your screen, Thomas, and when you're ready. Hi, Thomas.
Hi together.
Yeah, hi. So thanks for joining us today. We're moving from that into the use case management service. Thank you for this, and away you go.
Yeah, okay, Aidan, thanks a lot. So I'd like to give you short introduction about the use case management service and what is new about the service. So we are basically in progress. So okay, use case management. What is new on the use case management service? I think we made quite a significant progress in the international rollout. So just recently, the chapter Benelux joined us. Already started with a lot of publication in this year, and we have a very active room from buildingSMART. So the building room with its project from fire safety engineering is very busy to also upload their results to the use case management. I'm going to show you later on a short example of it. And very new since April this year, also the rail room has joined the use case management. So I'm very pleased actually to see what will happen there. But it's not only the buildingSMART chapters and rooms which are active. We have also some other activities. So very important for me is that you see here this BIM Speed project, which is a EU Horizon 2020 project. They will also provide all the results out of this project on the use case management. Also new is that now when you're going to sign on, you can use the single sign-on of buildingSMART International. So this service is now available, and for everybody who has to log in the first time in the use case management can use the single sign-on. So it's very easy now to use all the services from buildingSMART with one specific login. Also, a new feature we just recently introduced in the use case management is that we are compliant with the new EN standard, Building Information Modeling Level of Information Need. So basically, you see here the standard, which gives some clear indication how you have to define some information. So the geometrical information, the alphanumerical information, and the documentation set. And as you see here, for the teams they work on the use case management, they can basically really use this level of information need for geometry, for alphanumerics, and for documentation. And out of that, you see the result here, then displayed on the website. You can upload some pictures about the geometry, for example, all the necessary information and the documents. And of course, you always see where this exchange happens between the initiator and the executor. So this is a new feature, very nice to use. Another possibility we gave just recently to, let's say, to our partners, they support the use cases. We introduced a new section, software tools and services, where software vendors, for example, they're going to use the use case management for a specific application and develop application for this specific use case. They can be highlighted here on the platform itself. And to improve the visibility, actually, on the use case management, we introduced a service where you can embed your exchange requirement directly into the platform. So we are going to use here a Smartsheet application. So if you are interested to use this one, please contact me. And we just recently made a test in Switzerland here with a service called BIM Profile Server, actually to create information delivery specification. And what you see here is kind of a workflow. So we have the core elements of a use case. So the use case description, the process description, and the non-technical information exchange requirement out of the definition from the information delivery manual. And then with this exchange requirement, you create kind of a profile in this BIM profile server and can then basically download the information delivery specification, which will be available on the platform itself. I'm going to show you this live also on the demo. Yeah, I like to start now with a specific use case, very nice to explain because it's an easy one. Here we developed a use case cleaning of glass facades. And what you see here is basically the objectives are that you have all the information from cleaning for glass surfaces in a building. And then what we do, we create these exchange requirements out of the process from the project teams. And after that, in this profile server, we create the information delivery specification. So this is kind of the workflow we have here. How does this look like? I will do a live presentation here. It's maybe easier to understand for you. So what you see here is the use case management tool. And here you have basically the introduction side. You see the single sign-on and all the use cases, and then you can filter the use cases, for example, for English use cases. And here you see all the numbers of the use cases. Some best examples maybe. So here from the building room, I'll give you an example here for the evacuation analysis. You see always a use case has these three sections. So the description of the use case with the management summary, a definition, maybe an illustration, then with always aim, scope, objectives, limitation, and references. And then in the second phase, you have the process definitions, and the process definition can be according to the different phases here. So for example, development, design, and so on. And so everybody can follow exactly what will happen here. And then the third element is the exchange requirement here in an Excel sheet, done and explained very briefly. So this is an example from what you see here from buildingSMART International, from the building room. but we have also other examples now from this BIM Speed project for here. So you see here also BIM Speed. This is this EO Horizon project with the light and visual comfort analysis, and also here very detailed, but in the very same structure, explained what is to do here on this specific use case. So this is, you see, it's quite a long documentation, but it's very detailed and very well explained what you have to do. So you see basically a use case is not only the exchange requirement by the end as a result, but a very good explanation of what can happen and what you have to do to create and to execute basically a use case. And last but not least, I'd like to show you this cleaning of glass facades now. So again, we made first we made a description here with some picture what is the use case about. So this it's better to understand for cleaning of glass surfaces inside and outside, for example, of the building. Again, this very clear structure what you have to do. Some references, meaning what kind of standards you're going to use here. And then here you see the process definition. And of course, process definition, this is a picture, but you can always have it as a PDF as well, so that you can see what is really happening on this use case. You see on the lines here on the swim lanes, these are the different actors. And then you have the different phases here. So we have 4 different phases here, and you see then what is the exchange between the different actors. And we highlighted the exchange requirements always with the blue icon here. And as I said, it's always kind of a recipe how you have to execute the use case. So you see here basically step by step all these design phases elements, and these elements they are described in a very detailed way, so you know exactly for each step what you have to do. You can explain that and make it available for public. Then we have also the design rules inside this use case, so with an explanation here, but also with very detailed design rules. So this is of course depending on the team who is developing this use case, how detailed they want to provide all the information. But I think here you see it's very clearly and very well explained what happens on this use case. And then by the end, you've got the exchange requirement. And what you see here is now we have this smart sheet embedded into the platform that you can really see. Here is, for example, the result out of the working group. They said, okay, we need this kind of properties here. They did some more details about some definitions about this one. So this is what the project team did. And then we did a mapping to IFC 4.3 that we can use basically this use case then later on for an IFC exchange. And with this, we went into this BIM profile server and created by the end an IDS file. Here you see the IDS file. And this file is also available as a download, so it can be used by different softwares to execute this use case. This is what's happened here on the front end for available for the whole BIM community, so everybody can access that. But I also like to give you a short insight into the backend. So this co-collaboration space, how would this look like for this very same use case? So cleaning of glass facades. You always see you have here some metadata, and then you have the core elements, the use case definition. So this is the description, the process definition, the exchange requirement, and a section for the software vendors here and the change log. And basically, it's a very straightforward and easy platform, actually. So you have just simply text fields where you can add all the numbers. You have drop-down menus for disciplines. You can choose your life cycle stages and so on. So it's a very easy and very straightforward platform, also for the process definition. What you see here, you can always upload some documents. You can define the different stages here. And you see we have also multi-language platform. So if you have the same use case for different languages, then you can translate it in this platform as well. So yeah, it's basically my recommendation. If you do a use case, develop a use case, it doesn't take long to understand this platform, and gives you really a structured way and a perfect way actually to publish the use case and to share the use case with all your team members. Coming back to my presentation, by the end, yeah, what we have here for the use case management, we also use quality assurance tools. For example, this is the qualifier. Give you a short insight here. So this is the qualifier where you basically can check then all the classification, and you see here, so all necessary parts are now 100% assigned to the model. So our intention is really that you have a validation tool for each use case that you can make your quality assurance. So I'm coming for a short outlook. What is next for the use case management service? We like to integrate a kind of IDS editor, so a light editor, which is able actually to communicate with the buildingSMART data dictionary, and we will have a UCM domain in the BSDD so that we can publish the results. So meaning the property sets we create here for, or the properties for the use case, that there are also available on a domain. And then we will collaborate with different external providers from property servers, for example. The example I showed you was this full IDS client, where we really can create an IDS out of a service, and then we're going to import the results, and you can export the IDS for your software. Yeah. That's all from my side. So if you have any questions, also, I'm very happy to give you an answer on that.
Thanks, Thomas. As you see, the on your screen is Thomas's email or the email for the UCM. And thank you very much, Thomas. I appreciate that very much.
Welcome. Okay.
Right, from UCM to translation services now, we're going to now hear from Léon van Berlo. So with that, we'll switch over to Léon.
All right, so when you go to translations.buildingsmart.org, you would end up in this website. Currently, there's only one project here, which is the translations of IFC. So clicking on this would bring you into the different options for different languages. You also see which volunteers have already contributed to this. There's a lot to say about these percentages and the progress lines. When they're blue, you can just ignore them. It's about the green ones, which you see are very, very tiny. There's almost none of them approved. So there's still a lot of work to do. So for my own, just for making it easier on myself, I am going to dive into the Dutch ones. And this is where you can see that you can translate all of the strings, but you can also really dive into the different domains and the different resources of IFC to do it more gradual. So when we go into the IFC architecture, you see that there's a couple here that are already translated, and there's a couple, so the ones that are already translated are green, and there's a couple that still need some translations. As you see, this is the original English string. There's some metadata there, and then down here you would get different suggestions, machine translated suggestions from different sources. So in this situation, there's a crowd internally who is suggesting this, but we could also link this to DeepL or Google Translate or anything. There's the ability to comment, and eventually when you submit, you go through the whole list. The proofreaders would then eventually do the proofreading. As you see here, there's the ability to easily switch between multiple different other files and domains to translate, and you can also relatively easily switch between languages if you would want that. So this is the kind of the simple short version. If you want to know more and have some guidelines and internal some advanced features, we can point you towards the buildingSMART knowledge base, which is, as Aidan already mentioned, available at user.buildingSMART.org. And under chapters, there is a couple of guidelines, and one of them is how to translate IFC. This is really the short version IFC translation process that I just showed, but you can read it easily for yourself. There's also options to offline translate and upload the files again. So this is the online and offline options. All of this is available, and you would also see some advanced features, how to do login. I think the advanced features are quite very nice as well, and also something that you probably need to be aware of when you log in or create an account. You have to use the buildingSMART services account login, because that's really the account that gives you access to use case management service, the BSD, translations, etc., etc. So this is your single sign-on account for all of these services in the future. So I think this was a very short, probably less than 5-minute overview of the translation system. If you are someone who just wants to help translating IFC, then please do so. Please use translations.buildingSMART.org. Just go ahead and make your contributions. And if you are a chapter and you want to help proofread these translations, this is the guideline where you can start. If you have people in your chapter who want to help proofread and approve the different translations that are being suggested by volunteers, then please read this article first, and then contact one of the people at buildingSMART through contact@buildingsmart.org, or contact Sheila or Aidan or myself, so we can help set up the correct proofreading credentials for your team inside the system. So that's it. Maybe just to mention as a final comment, as soon as the translations have been approved, they will also be published on the BSD. So as soon as you have a German or French or Dutch translation of an IFC wall, it would end up over here as well. And there's also other more technical places where the translations would end up, like for example on the buildingSMART GitHub repository. Under output, there's a specific branch that has all of the translations as well, all of the strings and the translations. So everything is really connected to that single system. As soon as something is being approved here and it goes through the process, it automatically ends up in all of the different places at buildingSMART as well. So that's it. If there are any questions, just feel free to reach out. We're here to help. We're here to make this easier for everyone.
Thanks, Léon. Interesting. So looking forward to seeing that. Quite a nice feature where the translation then is updated in the VSTD as well. So I think that's a great link. Well, with that, we're going to conclude this session. We'll return for our final session for the user conference in just under 45 minutes for the Open BIM Award winners. So with that, we'll close this session and thank you all for your attendance. Bye-bye.